In the previous parts of this series, I have covered the basics of statutes, the various types of statutes, and situations when interpretation of statutes may be required. We also saw all the internal and external aids to interpretation. We have also discussed the various presumptions in statutory interpretation. And in this part, we will cover all the important primary and secondary rules or principles of interpretation. To recap what we have previously discussed about the interpretation of statutes, if a statute is clear and unambiguous, it should be enforced or applied as is. If a statute is not clear or it has some ambiguity, that is where the need for construction or interpretation comes in. First of all, the primary rules for interpretation should be applied. If required, the secondary rules or principles of interpretation should be applied to fine-tune the interpretation that has been done by applying the primary rules. And the most appropriate interpretation of the statute should be implemented or enforced on the intended subjects of the statute. Also, the presumptions of statutory interpretation should be applied in each step of the interpretation process, and any interpretation that goes against the presumptions should be discarded. For example, the presumption of constitutionality, which is the presumption that the legislature cannot make any laws to intentionally violate the Constitution. So, any interpretation which seems to violate the Constitution will be a wrong interpretation and must be discarded.